All right. So, how many of you feel that your organization has clear data quality standards and processes? If yes, please type yes in the chat box. How many of you think that your organization lacks proper data governance and system? If yes, can you type at yes in the chat box? Thank you so much. Hello everyone, I'm Isha Taneja, and today we are going to discuss about data quality pitfalls and how to solve them. Thank you so much everyone for joining us today. It really means a lot to have you here. Before we begin, let me give you a brief intro about myself. I am the co-founder and CEO of Complere Infosystem. Complere Infosystem is based out of India, working majorly in data and AI. I'm also the editor-in-chief at the Executive Outlook, where we share the viewpoints of the industry experts through podcast and e-magazine. How many times have you sit in a meeting where someone says the data doesn't look right or I don't trust these numbers? If you're nodding right now, you're not alone. Up to 60% of the business leaders identifying poor data quality as their greatest digital transformative hurdle. Why? Because every critical aspect of their business, from decisions to complaints to customer trust and operational efficiency, is powered by data. When your data is wrong, everything suffers. We will explore some common data errors, their impact, and how the robust data quality framework can drive measurable, lasting improvements. So now that we have seen the impact, let's get specific about what actually we are dealing with. In my experience, working with companies across industries, there are 6 types of errors that show up again and again. But you know what? Once you know what to look for, they're much easier to prevent. The first one is the accuracy. So let's start with the obvious one, wrong data. This isn't about the typos, though these happen too. I'm talking about the phone numbers that doesn't work, email addresses that bounce, or product code that exists that actually does not exist. Last month, I worked with a retailer who discovered 30% of their customer was completely wrong. Their contact information was not right. Imagine trying to run a marketing campaign with that data. It will never work. The next one is inconsistency. This is where different systems speak different languages. Marketing says USA. You can think of the finance says United States and the operation uses US. Same country, 3 different formats, right? When you try to connect with this kind of information, the reported will never work. And it's like trying to have a conversation where everyone is speaking a slightly different language, right? The third one is the incomplete data. This one is sneaky because the record exists in the system, but it doesn't tell the whole story. An order without a shipping address, a customer profile missing their industry, or a transaction without a payment method. These are the gaps. They just don't break the processes. They create blind spot in your analytics that lead to the wrong conclusions. The next one is the business rule violations. These are the errors that break your business logic. An order marked as shipped, but no payment has been recorded, and employee is listed in the department simultaneously. The system allows it, but business really said it does not exist, right? The next one is my favorite one, that is the duplicates. So you have different entities because someone typed John Smith differently each time. So your sales team think there are 500 prospects while they have only 100 prospects. Your marketing team sends the email 5 times to the same person. It's just a waste of time. I'm embarrassed. The last one is the lack of validation. And finally, the root cause of many other issues. No one is checking the data as it is coming in. It's like having a factory, like no quality control. Problems multiply silently until someone finally notices the damage. The pattern here, most of these errors are preventable with the right framework in place. That's exactly what we are going to build it today. These are the small errors, but when to it leads and it accumulates, then it creates a bigger problem. So before we dive into solutions, so let's talk about what actually is at stake here. Poor data quality isn't just a technical problem. It's a business problem with real measurable consequences that hit every part of the business. The first one is the business decision. So let's start with a big one. When your data is unreliable, your choices become educated guesses at best, right? I have seen that companies miss opportunities because their sales forecasting was based on the duplicate records, or launch product in the wrong market because their customer segmentation was outdated. Every flawed record and and its report that reaches to the C level becomes a potential calculated uh, miscalculation, right? So the next one, this is where it hurts the most, your bottom line. Think about it, overpaying suppliers because you have duplicate vendor records, undercharging customers due to pricing errors in your system, or budget allocations going to the wrong department because of the data inconsistencies. These aren't small rounding errors, these are the systematic leads that compound over time. The next one is the customer experience. Your customer don't care about your data infrastructure at all. They care about its impact. Wrong shipping, wrong billing, outdated contact preferences, each data error becomes a frustrating point. And where the customer acquisitions are skyrocketing, you cannot afford to lose customers over these data mistakes. The next one is the operational inefficiencies. This one is what actually frustrates me. Why? Because watching talented team spend their days playing data detective instead of driving growth. When your staff spends hours every week cleaning data, reconciling reports, and fixing errors that should not have been existed, you are actually essentially paying premium salaries for data entry work. The next one is about the compliance. This is that that keeps the legal team awake at night. In the regulatory environment where GDPR, HIPAA, and other compliance framework, incorrect reporting isn't just embarrassing, it's expensive. You're talking about fines that can reach into millions, plus the reputational damage that follows. So that's the bad news. But you know what is the good news? Every single one of these problems can be solvable with the right quality of data by implementing a framework. So let's talk about how to build that framework. I want to share a transformative results that we have seen from implementing comprehensive data quality framework. This comparison clearly illustrates why investing in data quality isn't just a nice to have, it's a business imperative. So let's see some of the features. For example, data accuracy. Previously, there were a lot of frequent errors and data inconsistencies. This created a suspicion around our data that people simply doesn't trust that they were seeing in the reports. But after implementing the data quality, now the data goes through an automated verification processes. Teams can access verified trusted data that's immediately actionable. This shift from suspicion to confidence has been a game changer. The next one is about the decision making. Earlier, it was very painful. Why? Because teams spent hours manually checking data validity before making any significant decisions. This delayed critical reporting results, actions, and has reduced the advantage of it. Today, executives and analysts have instant access to the reliable data. Decisions that took days now can happen in the real time, allowing to be more agile and responsive to the market challenges. The next one is compliance. That means there were constantly playing catch up with compliance requirements, regular auditing, failures, that we need to fix issues after they were being discovered, a reactive approach. But after implementing this is a proactive approach, that before any compliance issue, we get automated flags, potential issues, and before they become a problem, it is solved, it is solvable, right? It comes into it is highlighted. The next one is the customer trust. Poor data quality directly impacting our customers, and after implementing, the customer satisfaction has improved dramatically because personalized service, correct billing, ability to anticipate the customer needs, which has actually increased the loyalty and the business rates. The last one, operational costs were very high. Why? Because most of the time was being spent on fixing it, fix, reworking, error correction, manual validations. But after implementing it, it is like proactive monitoring that reduce the cost. Instead of fixing problems, we are preventing them. So let me share a real world example from a finance sector that demonstrate the tangible impact of implementing the duplicate detection system. So the problem was that one of the financial service client was struggling with a critical data quality issue. They had duplicate customer records and account entries scattered throughout their reporting system. This wasn't just a minor inconvenience, it was creating a significant reporting errors that affected their financial systems and regulatory compliance. Imagine trying to get accurate customer counts or balances when the same customer or account appears multiple times in your database. We worked with their team to introduce the automated duplicate detection capabilities directly into the existing system. So this wasn't about replacing the entire infrastructure, no, but rather enhancing it with an intelligent algorithm that could identify and flag potential duplicates in the real time. The system was designed to catch duplicates at the time of entry and also scans the existing record to clean up the historical data. As a result, there was a reduction in duplicates, and which has translated into the accurate financial reports. And this wasn't about cleaner data, it is about the finance team could trust their reports. Another story that the healthcare organization was struggling with the inconsistent patient record formats across different systems. So they were using system dates, example, the MMDDYY, another were using DDMMYY, and it was varying across their different platforms. The solution was implemented standardized format across all the systems. That means that how the names are recorded, ensuring the date format, standard medical coding systems like ICD-10 or CPT codes throughout the organization. As a result, the impact was transformative. Patient tracking become significantly more reliable and efficient, and staff could easily access and understand the patient information regardless of which system they were using. Now, let's assess that where your organization stands. So, how robust is your organization approach to data quality? You can type this in your chat box from the option ABCD. A means that you are highly robust, that you have a comprehensive data governance framework, automated quality checks, ownership is there, and continuous monitoring around all the sources. B is moderately robust, that you are trying to define the data quality processes and tools in place, but coverage is inconsistent across departments or systems. The C1, it is somewhat limited. We recognize that data quality issues are there and we are working to improve, but currently working on manual checks and reactive fixes. The fourth one is that it significantly needs improvement. The data quality is known challenge with minimal formal processes, often discovering issues when there is a problem. So you can choose any option and let's have this results. All right, that's great. Now I will be talking about the essential pillars of the data quality framework. So it starts with governance. Establish the clear data ownership and accountability. Then implement the quality dimension, your accuracy, completeness, and consistency standards. The third pillar is the operational level. That means that you have to automate your business rules, validations, cleansing, and standardizing format. The fourth comes the intelligence layer. That means you need to provide the real-time dashboards for continuous oversight. Infrastructure, that you have to set up the infrastructures, and the key insights. That means that you have to set up the change management system. All these pillars are, if these pillars work together, right, you can't have effective monitoring without governance. Think of this as a blueprint that you need all the pillars to create a frame. So this is the prerequisite for creating a frame. Now let me walk through how the data flows through the data quality, and this is your operational roadmap where you need to work on. So we need to start at the data source, every entry point in your system. Then we apply profiling to understand what actually coming in, the data type, patterns, anomalies, what is coming. Next, we define the validation rules, the check against your data standards, flagging issues before they spread. Then cleansing corrects errors and standardized formats. Remember the healthcare date format example which we just discussed. The next one is dashboard that you need to visualize. While continuously monitoring and tracking performance, and also you need to set up the alerts if there is a problem. Finally, the feedback loop. That means you need to continuously work on the validation rules and cleansing process. So this isn't a linear process. So it's cyclic. First, we will gonna set up all the components, and then we will gonna loop it to improve again and again. So poor dashboard metrics might reveal gaps in your validation or rules. They will gonna identify the cleansing requirement, but once it is implemented, it becomes a self-improving that gets smarter over time. Now, once you have set up this process, this is an ongoing journey. That implementation is just the beginning, but here's a roadmap for continuous improvement and maximize ROI. The first one is start with a continuous monitoring. Build real-time dashboards to proactively catch issues. Then establishing the feedback loops with your data users. They will identify the pain points which you have missed and suggest refinements. The third one is you need to expand the framework to the new domains and departments. Don't try to roll out just to boil the ocean. Just you need to roll out incrementally, department by department. The next step is to implement the ROI tracking to quantify your wins, measure cost saving from reduce errors and revenue gains from better decisions. The next one is the maturity phase. That means that your governance and business needs change, right? So review your framework and add whenever it needs enhancements. The next one is with the readiness of the advanced analytics, right? So you can start the machine learning initiatives. So each step builds on the previous one. You can't efficiently expand without monitoring or pause, right? So you need to make sure that this is not a project, it's an ongoing capability that compounds value over time. Now let's talk about the compliance risk. The numbers are staggering and getting worse, right? 1.5 billion in global fines from data errors in 2024 alone. That's not a typo. Billion with a B, right? And here's the kicker, that 35% of regulatory breaches stem from missing or incorrect data entries. These are not the attack, they are the preventable data quality issue. Every incorrect customer record, every missing data field, every inconsistent format is a potential violation that is waiting to happen. And these three critical steps. The first one, that you run the complementary auditings. The second one, you use the executive dashboards to flag risky data sets. And the third one, make compliance part of monthly board level KPIs. What gets measured every and gets managed. So let's talk about the next things, that how we can scale and innovate with the data quality. So 90% of the enterprise AI projects are failing, and because of the poor foundations of the data. You know, the garbage in is a garbage out, and that is exactly happening. So first, establish the data quality rules before any analytics or AI setup. Second, audit your data flows before scaling. The third one is celebrate data quality wins to build innovative culture. Make it exciting and not just a complex. Let's start with the fundamental truth that every business leader understands. You can't manage what you can't measure, right? So you need to set up the KPIs for the data quality. And here are some of the KPIs I have listed that you need to make sure to manage and measure it. The next one is you need to review this data monthly. Make sure data quality is visible as the financial metrics. The second, set up the targets. For example, less than 1% error rate, 90% automated correction. So these are the targets that you should be set. The third one is the demand visual. That means that executive don't have the time to dig into through reports. They need to see the status, right? So set up the status, build a dashboard, what they want to see. And here comes the final notes. Let me leave you with three critical takeaways. The first one is data quality isn't just a one time project, it's an ongoing practice that requires continuous attention and investment. The second one is structured framework that deliver faster, smarter, and more confident decisions. The third one is success requires three pillars: the right technology to automate and scale your efforts, the skilled people who understands the data quality principle, and a commitment to continuously improve based upon what you. All right, so if you have any questions, you can definitely ask. I will be happy to answer your questions. In case I will not be able to answer all the questions, then in that scenario, you can reach out to me on this email address and on this phone numbers.